Welcome everybody to this webinar that you joined to hear more about the European double degree in sustainable food systems, which can take place in Italy, both Italy and France. And we have staff members joining us from both locations. So you will hear from them and to hear about how it is to study there, and also from a student.
Thank you very much. I am Giulia. I am from Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore, from the international recruitment team, and together with my colleagues at Isara and Rhoda, one of our students, I will be presenting today's webinar and moderating as well. Let's go over the agenda so that we know what we're talking about during the webinar. So we are going to go over an explanation of what is a European double degree, what's so important about it, and what's different about it, and why study in both our universities, because this is a double program. It has a double location, so you can study in Cremona and Lyon. So we're going to go over why we should study in Cremona and why we should study in Lyon. And also we are going to go over why you should choose Università Cattolica and Isara among all of the universities, which we know there are plenty. So we're going to go over why you should choose us in the first place. Then we are going to hear from the academics. So Professor Lucini and Professor Ghnimi. Both of them are teachers, of course, and professors at our courses. And we are going to go over the admission procedures with Natalie. She takes care of the admissions process. I know you're going to have a lot of questions for them, for her in particular. And last but not least, we're going to have a lovely chat with Rhoda, which is a current student at Isara. And then last but not least, again, your questions and answers will be welcomed. Okay. So here we go. All of our beautiful faces you see. So what is a European double degree? Why do we call it a European double degree? Well, we know it's because it's in Europe, but absolutely it is because it is also very much of a blend between two European countries. And, the fact is, those are two institutions, Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore and Isara Lyon, which not only we want to mix the academic life styles that we have in both of them, but we also want to blend knowledge from both of the European countries, which, France and Italy, both of them have a real tradition of food processing, food technology, food harvesting. So we have a lot of traditions that if we mix together, well, of course, it creates a wonderful environment to experiment the best knowledge in Europe regarding this particular topic. So you will be doing the first semester and the second semester in Cremona, in Università Cattolica. We're going to talk about Cremona specifically a little later. And then the second part of your 2 years master's degree is going to be on in the Isara campus in Lyon. So the third and the fourth semester. As I said, location matters. So we are going to go over why specifically, and I'm definitely going to go over why specifically Italy and Cremona and Università Cattolica are very, very important for food in Italy. So let's go with why Italy. So course, we all know Italy is a beautiful country, so we're not going to go over how beautiful our landscapes are and stuff like that. But we are very well known for our food industry. Just to let you have an idea and bring some data, in 2022, even if the pandemic hit, so the whole economy slowed down during the pandemic, 17% a 17% increase in exports for the food sector was experienced in Italy. So that means that even if the world was slowing down, and maybe that is because that is the reason why, because if you slow down, you eat a little more. But exports from our country related to food products and food innovation as well really had a steep increase. We have a beautiful economy actually in this particular sector, and that is also the case for Lombardia, which is the place, the region where Cremona is located in Italy. Cremona is the center of the Italian food valley. Well, that's another one. But we also know we are famous for our made in Italy. So we are not only very good at harvesting and producing, but we are also very good at transforming. And that goes also beyond actually food. We go with transforming a lot of raw materials into really nice, precise, quality products. So I would say Italy is very famous for this as well. In particular, we're famous for processing a lot of things, whether it be food or metals or components. So we're very good at that. We're also famous for wine, but this is a kind of a rivalry, I would say, with France. So I will not go deeper into that. But every year we go. France is the first exporter of wine in the world, and then the year after that, Italy is the first exporter of wine in the world. So it's we kind of we swing between years. So Cremona, as I said before, I don't want to repeat myself that much, but Cremona is in the heart of the food valley. And the reason why I think it is a very beautiful place is because it's not as big or as chaotic as Milan. So it is very nice to study things that are related to agriculture, because it's surrounded by not only the place in Italy where most of the food is produced, so the Pianura Padana, but also because of the central location that it has in Italy, Cremona is very well known for all the manufacturing around food and all the manufacturing about food that takes place in the food valley happens between the provinces of Cremona and Piacenza. It is also very central, so it also has an advantage in terms of logistics. Going to Cattolica in particular, we have, I think, the most beautiful campus after the Milan one of Cattolica in Cremona. It is a new campus, completely renovated in a 16th century monastery of Santa Chiara, if I am not mistaken, or Santa Monica. I never remember which saint. But then it's 12,000 square meters with a lot of space also for labs. So you're going to have a lot of practice. We host in Cremona, we host the Faculty of Agricultural, Food and Environmental Sciences. And our faculty is ranked top 150 globally, which is very, very nice, especially if you look at how many universities we have doing the same as we do, but we do it better, I guess. So we are ranked better. Why Cattolica? It's going to be a 2 minutes thing. Actually, So we are a private institution. That means we have a lower student to teacher ratio. So we have more teachers per number of students. We have higher funding for research and for student services. And we also have a deeply connected job market. So we, as a private university, have a deeper connection with all the companies, especially around the north of Italy, where we are most present, than the public universities that maybe you could have heard of in Italy. Our campuses are international, but they're deeply connected, as I said, with what we do in the area that the campus is located in. So we have a local strategy for our campus. We host international students, but we also stay connected to the local identity and the local excellence. Of course, but everybody will tell you that we have a strong academic profile. But yeah, I'm gonna let our professors and our academic body talk about how we do research and how our research is very well known and appreciated across the world. And also, I think one of the best things that differentiates Cattolica from the rest of the universities is that we kind of feel like the students are welcome, regardless of where they are from, but we offer them a welcoming space with a strong recognition of individuals. And then we also give them many opportunities to go abroad, to enhance their curriculum. We have many services that we provide with, so that they can feel like their student experience is the best possible. So that's going to be the last thing I say about why study in Cattolica. I'm very passionate about where I work, and you can hear that. But I'm gonna pass the ball to Vincent, which he is the director of Isara, and he's going to go over why France is also a very nice place to study, and Lyon in particular. Go ahead, Vincent.
Thank you, Julia. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. So I am Vincent. I work at the International Relations at Isara. And so I will present you why study in France and why Isara especially and why Lyon. And so some good reasons to study in France, of course, is the high education level. As you may know, France is ranked as the third world country in the world to study. As Italy, and this is why this double degree is so important, why this matchup between France and Italy is so important, is that we also, just as Italy, have a very important food industry. The food industry is the first employer in France. It's more than 15,000 companies working in this area in France for an overall budget of 200 billion euros. So it's a huge sector. So we have, of course, a very strong expertise in this sector in France. And this is why it's important and interesting to go study this area in France, just like in Italy. And this is why this double degree makes so much sense for you guys. Another aspect is the culture in France, as you may know, and as Julia said, same for Italy. We have many monuments and protected sites. And of course, the strong culture is very interesting when you come study in some place, to be able to discover the country, not only for studies but also to for its culture. So I can pass myself the next slide. So why Lyon? So Lyon is probably the third city of France after Paris and Marseille in terms of number of citizens of inhabitants. Lyon is always ranked in the top 5 of the best city to study in France, and So this answer, the first question that has been asked in the chat, what is the best city to study in France? Of course, we want you to come to Lyon and to enjoy Lyon, which is a very strong studying city, and it's very enjoyable. Why? So you can see in the picture on the higher part of the slide and on the left, we have two rivers in Lyon and a very beautiful hill. It's a very historical city, so very nice to walk around and to discover. It's close to the Alps, to the mountains, so you can see the snowy mountains in the winter, just like now. So you are about to go skiing, and also in the summer to go hiking. There is a football team, a soccer team, Olympique Lyonnais, and at the right, it's the Festival of Lights that is very important in Lyon in December. And the image of this guy in the middle of the slide is Paul Bocuse. He's a very famous chef, and so Lyon is one of the capitals of gastronomy in France. So linking back to food and to food industry, but also to gastronomy, it's important to come to Lyon and for this area. Of course, it's in the heart of Europe. We are very close to Italy. This is also why this double degree makes sense. But also to the south of France, which is very enjoyable, and to other parts of Europe. So this is why Lyon is very enjoyable, and of course we will be able to talk to you more about it. And now, why Isara? So Isara is what we call in France a grande école, which means that we are quite small in number and size, which is an advantage in many points of view. So we are human-sized. We are very strong to be able to be very close to the students. The teachers are very close to the students because of this size. We have 3 domains of excellence, which are first sustainable food systems. So this is the object of this double degree. Agroecology in the agriculture part, and entrepreneurship and innovation, which you will also find in this double degree sustainable food systems. We are very close to the city center, a bit south of the city of Lyon. We can guarantee for you an accommodation in a public student house when you come to apartment, I would say, when you come to Lyon for your stay in Lyon. So this is very enjoyable. You don't have to worry when you come to this double degree for your accommodation in Lyon. We can arrange one for you at a very low price. We have some funding available for your scholarship for the second year at Isara, but Nathalie Zoe will talk a bit more about it later on. And especially, we are very complementary to Cattolica in terms of this double degree. We have a very practical approach and some field trips to go to visit companies. So you can see some images of Isara here, and especially the image of students working in the technological hall that we have here, and that allows the students to do some practical work. So this is very important for us in this double degree. And so now I will let the professors talk to you more about the program itself.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Should we start with Professor Lucini, maybe?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Maybe if you can share the next one. Thank you. Very quickly, not the project, okay, this one. This is in general the study plan of the first year, so first and second semester that can be done in Cremona here in Italy. You can have a look whenever you want, so I prefer to explain you what is the philosophy. We are a research university, and this master has been built based on the cooperation we have with industry. We also have an advisory board that are people from industry that are advising actually on how to build up professionals that can find an occupational outcome in the industry. So to provide those skills, those competencies that are required by the food industry across different sectors. So we have people coming from dairy, from meat science, from bakery, from sauces, processed vegetables, and so on, just to have a broad overview. And thanks to this overview, we decided in this first year to provide some basics of chemistry and microbiology. Those are the bigger part of the courses, together with technology, food technology. Speaking about microbiology and biochemistry means having the ability to understand what's happening in food processing in order to have those competencies that are required for food design. So the idea is to have competencies of advanced competencies in the food industry. Those people that are not simply able to manage the process, but are also able to think about, to design, innovate in food science. This is the general idea, while having a look to environment. So we have courses of sustainability, and to economics. It's called the T system: technology, economy, and environment. This is the general idea underlying. And then we have some complementary skills like certifications, data processing, food risk analysis, together with this T system I was mentioning before. The type of teaching, just very quickly, is with lectures, classical lectures, but we also have seminars provided by the industry, and also several practical activities together with lectures in class. And this is very important, I think, to build up a professional skill. Thank you.
Thank you, Luigi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sami Ghnimi, and I'm an associate professor of food technology at Isara. And I will present you the second year, which takes place at Isara in Lyon. So we start with the third semester, which is, let's say, complementary to the first year, because it's more applied and project-based learning, where students will focus on sustainability in the food industry, the practical way, let's say, with three main modules, as you can see here: food processing and managerial innovation, entrepreneurship, and sustainable development in food industry. But also we have this third module, core project. It's a 6-week full-time project work with food companies. And as you can see below, some of the company logos students have worked with the last, let's say, 2-3 years. So it's a practical, let's say, way how do we embed and implement the sustainability in food processing, including packaging, for example, including formulation, supply chain, carbon footprint, etc., etc. Students also will have lectures on sustainable food processing and packaging with practical labs in the food pilot plant, as my colleague Vincent said before. We have also, and you will have, students will have case studies. So you have a lot of case studies on life cycle assessment for the environmental pillar. You need also, as a sustainable food technologist, to gain some leadership and management tools. So you will have lectures on leadership and sustainability, and management tools like, for example, lean management, problem solving, etc., etc. So that's the third semester. And then you have the fourth semester, which is dedicated to your master thesis. It's a 6-month full-time internship. It could be in a research center, food company, or consulting agencies. It could be everywhere in the world. There's no restriction, let's say. And as you can see here, you have some examples, for example, for research universities or research centers across Europe, but also you have some of them in US, and also some logos of multinational companies, but also small ones, let's say, or startups. Knowing that in France, if you conduct your internship in France, internships are mandatory paid. The average pay in food companies, it's almost 1,000 up to 1,400 euros. And in the university research centers, the minimum is 650 euros. By the end of this internship, let's say in the beginning, you have to deliver a research or to prepare a research proposal, and also to deliver by the end of your internship a written report, and also you have to conduct an oral defense by the end of your internship. And after that, you are graduated, and you will have both graduation ceremonies, one in Cremona in Italy and one in Lyon in France. So you will get 2 master degrees. Now moving to, before moving, let's say to summarize, let's say the structure of this 2 years program, it will give you theoretical knowledge, like that's mainly in the first, and also practical skills that will enable you to integrate sustainability in the food industry. So that's the major objective of this 2 years program. For the jobs held by our alumni, as you can see in the graph on your right, it's mainly on production and quality, 50% of our alumni, but also many of them are working in research and development, supply chains, some of them also in consultancy agencies around the world, some of them in North America, but also in Europe. And in general, almost 89 to 90% of the students will find jobs 6 months after their graduations. On your left, the locations, they are mainly in Europe. So our students are working mainly in Europe, but also in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Also, it's a multicultural environment because you will have a lot of nationalities, let's say. At least in the cohort, at least you have 10 to 12 nationalities. So it's a multicultural environment. And now I'll give the floor to our current students, Rhoda, for the next part of the webinar.
Hi, hello.
Hello again. So, Rhoda, it's time for us. Amazing. No, I think it's always a very nice way to get to know a little more about the program itself through the eyes of someone who's going through it. Okay. So, Rhoda, we're going to have a little interview, I would say. Could you introduce yourself, telling us where you come from and what you studied before applying to sustainable food systems?
Okay. All right. So my name is Rhoda Saribodi, and I come from Ghana. As it has already been mentioned, I'm currently enrolled in the European double degree program, Sustainable Food Systems and Food Processing Innovation and Tradition. And prior to my master's studies, I had the chance to work as a quality assurance officer. But for my undergraduate studies, I did BSc Post-Harvest Technology from a university back home called Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And after my undergraduate studies, I had the chance to work as a sustainability personnel with Cargill Ghana Limited. So that's basically a little bit about myself.
Sorry, I had to unmute me. Okay, thank you very much. So, considering that we have many universities around the world offering agribusiness programs, why did you decide to apply for this specific program, and what made this program stand out compared to the other options that maybe you were considering? And we know there's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So when the time came for me to pursue a master's program, since I had already been introduced to the food system and then I had also worked in sustainability, I was not just looking out for food science programs, but I was also looking for a program that would give me the option of doubling sustainability and food processing or food technology, because from both my academic and then professional experience, I got educated about the effect the food industry has on global sustainability. So with this knowledge in mind, I was actively seeking a program that would allow me to do both. And through my search, I came across the program with both Isara and Católica. And I was very excited about it. Like, before making a decision to apply, I really looked at the course outline and everything. Like, it was exactly what I was looking for. Plus, I was really excited about the fact that it was in between multiple countries. So I got that, like, applying to it would mean, or getting into the program would mean getting to move from one country to the other. And that was really exciting for me to going for. And fun fact, actually, that was the very first school I applied to. So that should tell you how excited I was to really to be accepted into the program.
Well, we are honored, I would say, that we were the first choice. We are happy that you found a program that, kind of mirrors what you want to do. And I really like the approach that you have in saying, I want to do something for both because they're deeply interconnected. And I think we don't talk about how the food system and the environment are so deeply connected, and we just overlook it all the time. So the third question I would go with is, what did you enjoy the most about your first year in Cremona as an international student? It's not a place that many people know, so it's nice to know.
Yeah, Cremona is, I would describe it as very small and quaint. Yeah, I mean, it's a very magical place. I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating, but Cremona is a place that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the environment, the people were really sweet. It's, for a student city, it has a lot of really old people who are generally nice and just throwing about compliments here and there. And I also enjoyed the calm atmosphere of the place. Yeah, because it's a student city, but like I mentioned earlier, it's really calm. It has this calming effect on the people, the inhabitants of the city. And also I enjoyed just meeting different people, because it's a student city as well. It had a lot of mixed nationalities, and I really enjoyed getting to meet these people and interact with them and just exchange cultures with them. And I would say, out of all my experiences, my favorite experience in Cremona was just like late night walks, because the place is so calm and you feel so safe in the city that late in the evening, my friends and I would just like walk around, go and sit at the piazza and just enjoy the atmosphere generally. And it was a very good experience for me. So yeah, that was like what I enjoyed most about my stay in Cremona, the environment and then the people.
Nice, thank you very much. What is the difference between Cremona and Lyon? Is there any difference between the two cities, the student life? How do you feel in Lyon right now?
Okay, so there's a huge difference, considering Lyon is one of the biggest cities in France, and then Cremona is on the smaller, more quaint side. But then, of course, as a big city, it also has its own perks and its own big city magic. So, like I mentioned earlier, in Cremona, yes, it was calm, it was quiet, it had nice places. But then in Lyon, there are a lot more people, so you get to meet and interact with a lot more people, a lot more nationalities now. And also with the whole city traveling system, like the different mediums of transportation, like I mean in Cremona it was mainly walking and biking, but it's easier to go places. Even though Lyon is big, it's easier to go places in Lyon because you have so many modes of transportation. You can choose to bike, you can choose to pick the tram, you can choose to take the metro. Also, in respect to the students' life or students' living, it's more fast-paced as compared to Cremona, but it's also nice because then it teaches you how to adjust. If you're able to adapt and stay in Lyon, that's a good thing for you. It's a good experience that you can keep with you your whole life. And in terms of social assistance, I feel Lyon offers a lot more, or generally maybe France offers a lot more social assistance, which is also a plus. I mean, Cremona also does its own thing. So comparing both, I think they both have their perks and then their negatives. And as my professors and then the staff mentioned earlier, there is affordable housing in Lyon. I mean, in Cremona, generally the standard of living general standard of living is lower in Cremona, but then the accommodation is on the pricier side. But for Lyon, you get student housing. So even though maybe other stuff, buying things are more expensive, your student housing is cheaper and you don't really have to pay any bills. So comparing these two, I guess they both have their perks and then, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I'm going to go with the last question, which is a question that I always ask students when I do webinars, is what advice would you give to a future student?
Okay, so the first and foremost advice would be to explore and have fun, take advantage of the opportunity that you've been given. I mean, you get to stay for a while in 2 different countries, so take advantage of it, explore, visit. And the second advice would be to not hesitate to ask for assistance or ask questions if there are any doubts, if there be any doubts or any uncertainties that you have. Because one thing I noticed about the system, both in Cremona and in Lyon, is that the staff and then the professors are always willing to help. So in case you have any problems, like they mentioned earlier, the student to staff ratio is quite low as compared to other places. So you have easy access to information, to resources, and all you have to do is to ask for them. So that would be my second advice, to not hesitate to ask for assistance and for information generally.
Thank you very much. That's always good advice. Ask, we're here. And I think it also applies to our colleagues in Isara. I think it's time for us to wrap up and see if you have any questions. Remember, if I don't remember wrong, Luke, I think it is the time for us to no, wait. We have the application procedures first.
Yes.
I didn't remember.
Thank you.
I
just
thought
wanted
we
to
were
make sure.
going to, yeah. I thought we were going with the questions before and then the application procedure after. Natalie, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, no problem. A few information, practical information about applications. So applications are done online on the sasfood.au website, and for this year you have until April 6th to apply. Who is eligible for this master? I think the professors talked about it already, but you need a bachelor or something equivalent to enter the program, and this degree has to be in food science and technology or nutrition, or even if you have a bachelor in biotechnology, biological science, agricultural science, you're also welcome to apply, and you might have to do extra integrative readings at the beginning of the first semester. For people having a degree in other fields, at least you need 60 credits in food science and technology to be eligible for this master. The master is taught in English, so we will need to check your level in English. A B2 level is required, and you need to send us a test, TOEFL, IELTS. There are also tests. To apply, you should also prepare a few documents in advance, like your CV, of course. We will need a copy of your bachelor degree, your transcripts, your English test, a motivation letter, and if you have them, recommendation letters. They are also really important for us. About the fees and the costs of the master, the fees are 9,050 euro per year. There is, however, one scholarship from Università Cattolica and Isara, the international scholarship, that could reduce the tuition fee to 6,400 euro a year. The scholarship is based on merit, and there's a limited number of scholarships. So we advise, of course, that you apply early. There are a few other helps actually from Isara. We have that scholarship called Terra Isara only for the second year of the master that could also reduce your tuition fees. And for the last semester, the fourth semester, if you're doing your internship in Europe, but not in France, you might be eligible to Erasmus Plus funding. So there are other funding options if needed. Of course, you're going to come and study in Europe, Italy. Some of you might need a visa, so you will have to check in advance with the Italian embassy in your country. And as explained by Vincent, and Rhoda mentioned it as well, of course, Cattolica and Isara International Office Relation, we help you to settle both in Italy and in France. So that's the basic information for applications. Everything is described on the website as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Natalie. So now is the question time, I think. But before that, you can go over the QR code and start the application soon. So, Luke, would you mind reading some of the questions? I'm going to try to answer.
I will indeed go over that. So we have already received some questions. Just before that, I want to make sure that also that people know that it's being recorded. So there are some people that joined later, so you can watch it at any time later from the start again, and we will send everybody the link so you can watch it at any time. Now, regarding the questions, let's go over to some of these. I will skip a couple that have already been answered. The cost has been answered, and on the low price. Now, how do I apply was another question, but I think that's just covered. So otherwise, Elena, let us know if you have any questions still. And Abu is then asking to understand every step for funding options for international students. Is there anything that can be said about that in addition? Or
maybe I can just repeat what we've just mentioned.
Yeah.
There are a few funding options. So the first one you should look at is the SFS International Scholarship. It's done while you're applying, and this one could reduce your tuition fees from 9,000 to 640,000 euro a year. So that's done while applying. For the second year, there can be some extra funding from a scholarship called Terra Isara in France. This could reduce as well your tuition fees, probably by half. It depends on your background. And as mentioned, for the fourth semester, either you are in an internship that's paid or you're doing an internship in Europe, and in that way you might also be eligible for some Erasmus Plus funding for your travel, etc. Plus, we encourage you, of course, to look for scholarship or funding in your country or other. I mean, you have probably local institution that might be available to provide some funding. So check out all those options as well.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Natalie. Hope that answered that question. And next question we received was from Sophia, asking, do you accept a B2 Cambridge certification, which was from 2021? So if that's still valid, or how can you say something about this?
I believe we had the question recently as well, and Cambridge was one of the exams we accepted.
Good. Next question from Jana. Should I write an essay or letter to apply?
Should I answer again? Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I call the lettre de motivation, motivation letter. Please let us know why you're applying, what's your project, how this master fits into your studies and your life projects. So yes, this letter is very important for us to get to know you, actually.
Okay, perfect. Abu has a question asking about what is the cost of living? That might depend between the two
Yeah,
cities,
I
but
can
what can you
start.
say about this?
I can start with that and I can try to give an answer. Of course, it all depends on your standard of living when you are home. So if you live in the United Arab Emirates and you live in one of the skyscrapers, like last floors and stuff, it's probably going to cost you a little more to be having the same standard of living than another person who behaves like another. I mean, who lives in another part of the city. But in general, we would say for Cremona specifically, around 12,000, 15,000, between 12,000 and 15,000 euros a year, which is comprehensive of most of the accommodation and food. I would say that that would be probably nice estimate, but also it depends. It depends if you want a single room, a double room, if you want to share, if you want to have your own apartment, if you want to live in the center. Actually, one of the main things about Cremona is that it's a small town, so living in the center versus living outside shouldn't change much in terms of quality of life. So absolutely. And then usually, as Rhoda I think was saying, food is a little cheaper maybe than in France in this moment, but I'm not 100% sure because I actually studied in France as well, but I was studying a couple of years ago, so I don't know the current situation, and I was in Lille, so completely another city, which I think is more expensive. But anyway, that would be it. Like the estimate would be between 12,000 and 15,000, depending on of course your standard of living where you come from in Cremona.
And about Lyon,
yep, go ahead for Lyon.
Thank you.
And then before you answer, I just want to apologize that I put the questionnaire on the screen. It was meant to be in the polling, but anyway, we got some good answers there as well for other information. But go ahead, Vincent, and we'll come back to that.
Thank you. In Lyon, it's quite similar to what Julia said for Italy. We estimate around 800 to 900 euros per month, more or less. So of course it depends on how you live. It can be a bit more, it can be a bit less maybe, but it's around that. It is to be considered. There had been some inflation, some price increases in France in the last 2 or 3 years. So this is to be considered. As I was saying before, and as Nathalie Zoe said also, we can guarantee you accommodation in student housing, and so this helps a lot. And so about this accommodation, the prices are around a bit less than 300 euros per month. And if you have a shared, a single room but with a shared kitchen, or a bit around 400 euros a month if you have your own studio, your own apartment with the kitchen included, just for yourself. So this helps a lot to have this accommodation, which is not in the Isara campus, but it's very close to it. It's like two, usually the residences are two metro stations away, so it's very close to Isara and very easily reachable. So this helps a lot there. And so in general, around 800 to 900 euros per month, I would say.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, Vincent, for your insights. And we did receive a couple more questions. Abu was coming back to the motivational essay. How to write a good one. Do you have any tips that you can share? I don't know, Natalie, do you?
I don't know. I would say I'm not sure what the professor thinks about it, but it's about yourself. Tell us who you are. That's what we want to know.
Anything to add from Sami or Luigi? Or that's...
From my side, I think it's good for the students to write, let's say, why they are applying for this master. What are their perspectives, let's say? Is there any, let's say, professional, let's say, objective by the end of this program? Normally, it should be coherent, let's say. And if there's no motivation, then we will ask questions, let's say. Why do you want to join our program?
Yes, I would say that there is not the right way. There are so many different ways. Is the end point is important. So it should be clear that you are really interested in that topic. You believe this topic and this master can advance your career. So somehow this is the feeling that should be, should be achieved when we read the motivation letter. But it's very difficult to give an answer, actually. I agree with Sami. There are so many ways to express this concept. And all those ways, our personal ways, are still valid, provided that you can show you want, this is what you want to do.
Okay.
You guys had a good introduction to it when you listened to Rhoda explaining why she chose this program, for instance, and explaining why exactly what Luigi just said, why it made a difference, why it was making a difference for her. And so this is exactly the things that is appealing to us, to know, that you really understand and you feel the importance of these masters that can be in your career and for you, how you can make a difference with it in our world.
Yes.
Great. Thank you
to
very much.
summarize why you prefer this program. So why you are interested in this specific field of sustainability. What are your goals, let's say, once you finish this program? And it should be very concise. I mean, it's not 2 or 3 pages. 1 page is enough, let's say. And maybe also explain your background in the beginning. And that's it.
Good. Thank you very much. I hope that answered that. Question from Lamin. Is there any visa support for admitted students? Who can say something about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Lamin means by visa support, in the sense that, of course, when you get an admission, we give you all the information that you need in order to apply for a visa. And I think Rhoda can also tell us something about it, in the sense that she went through a visa process. So I think she knows more about what we do for visas than I do, because I never had to get one, fortunately for me. But yes, we do offer, of course, information about how to get a visa. And when you get here, you get information about how to get your permesso di soggiorno, so your permit of stay and stuff like that. So Rhoda, could you give some advice on visas for admitted students, if you may?
Okay, so for the visa to Italy. The school provided me with some documents that were very essential or very necessary to the application process. And upon application or upon submission of my application to the Italian embassy back home, the embassy also reached out to the school just for some clarification. So that also worked in my favor because the international office was available to answer the questions of the embassy and all that. So I think that is one key thing that the school did for me. And then for moving from Italy to France, the school really helps with that process because the school helped us to even get an appointment at the embassy because it was really packed at that time. But then they basically, let me say, held our hand through the whole process. And so, yeah, they do offer a lot of assistance when it comes to the visa application process, both moving from Italy to France and then also from your respective countries to Italy, yeah, which is the first point of contact in Europe if you are coming outside from Europe. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much, Rhoda, for your experience.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm sure that was very useful for a lot of the people because I've seen a lot of students from outside of the EU also join us today. So that might concern them. Next, and for now, last question, Esther. For those international students that have kids, can the children come along with them to Italy? So I don't know how this can be answered by the panel, but
tough question. Tough question.
Maybe I can
it's a very specific one, I think. So
yeah.
I'm not sure in the sense that I don't know. I'm not a visa issuer, so myself. So I don't know what specific condition applies to you. What I would suggest is to send an email to us in particular, because I can and we can redirect the question to someone who might know the answer to that. That would be my best advice, to send us an email with the question, so that I can and we can send them over to people who could have an answer.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. Just maybe it's an advice about it. It's not easy to come and study if you have kids, so you should take this into consideration. Yeah, because you are. I mean, it's quite a lot of dedication. It's 2 countries in 2 years, so it's definitely not easy. But about the technical issues about issuing visa and so on, yeah, you can send us an email and we'll ask our colleague in Cattolica. Our colleague Francesca probably knows more about it.
Okay, thank you. Hope that answered that to satisfaction for Esther. And those were the last question. Was the last question I've received so far. You see the contact details on the screen. I will also now actually put the link to the application website that's on the screen. So that's the actual same website that you see there, susfoods.eu. So if you click on that link, you will be directed to it, and you can, at your own pace, have a look at it and find more information. You can apply as well, and yeah, all the information is basically there. So go ahead and do that. So you have it still after the webinar. And as we are wrapping up this session, unless there's a last question coming in, but I think not at this stage. So then we slowly will round off. And then I'd like to thank everybody for joining. Well, thanks from my side, first of all, to all the staff members that joined: Luigi, Sami, Vincent, Natalie, Julia, and of course, Rhoda. Thanks a lot for your input as well. I think that was very valuable to the audience for sure. So thanks a lot. And last words over to Julia.
Yeah, well, I cannot do anything more than you just do it. So thank you. Thanks to everybody who attended and the patients. We're a lot of speakers, so when it comes to coordinating all the speakers here, I think we deserve some patience, but we are thankful for that. And please do let us know if you have any questions, and we will be waiting on your applications. So hopefully very, very soon.